And greetings, friends. My name is Lonnie Epps, and I'm a certified nutritional herbalist, trained esthetician, and life extension specialist. And I'd like to take a few minutes to share some concepts and ideas with you that I'm going to call the 7 keys to radiant health. And let me tell you something I know about you, even though I may have never met you personally, and the only communication between us may be this DVD or CD. And I know that you are an individual that obviously is trying to get away from the mindset of being an average American. Now, what am I talking about when I say an average American? Well, let me give you some information about what the average American is all about right now. Unfortunately, folks, concerning our health, we're not doing very well. And let me give you a few statistics. I'm not going to give you a lot of information to bore you about facts and figures, but I want you to understand where we are as a nation and individually and how we can improve our health and our life. The average American, my friend, is 30 to 50 pounds overweight. They eat from 100 to 120 pounds of sugar every year. They take over 13,000 pills and medication in their lifetime. The average American has several bouts of despair and depression throughout their life. They also, many times, are individuals that will go through several bouts of flus and colds and various sicknesses throughout their life, and sometimes repeatedly throughout seasons. So the average American is not doing very good at all. The average American also dies anywhere from 30 to 50 years before their genetic potential. So as a nation, we're not doing very well at all. In fact, we're doing very bad. And yet we have the most high-tech, some of the most advanced medical instruments and various procedures of anyone in the world. But yet we are dying and sick and suffering. But the fact that you're listening to this DVD or this CD tells me that you want to step out of the realm of being an average American. And I want to assist you in doing so. And so I hope you pay attention to these 7 keys to radiant health. And as you do, just take a minute right now to get a pencil and piece of paper so you can jot down some notes, get some ideas, and make sure you memorize these things, because this communication may not belong to you. So you want to be able to memorize these things and inculcate them into your mind and into your heart and your brain so you can practice them and get the benefit. So let's get started. The first key, I believe, to radiant health would be to change our disposition about health. And by that I simply mean we have to become proactive and not reactive. As a nation, I believe we are reactive people. And what am I saying by that? Well, let me give you a couple of quick examples. On December the 7th, 1941, 2,000 Americans lost their lives. As a result, we reacted and we were launched into World War II, where tens of thousands, if not millions, were killed. On September the 11th, 2001, once again, our country was attacked by terrorists using airplanes as bombs. 3,000 Americans were killed. We reacted. We were launched into wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. We have become a reactionary people. Is that necessary? Sometimes. But we need to learn to be proactive, because as a result of these reactions, many lives were lost and a lot of damage was done. We do the same thing with our health. Most of us have a tendency, when we get a headache, we take an aspirin. We get a stomach ache, we take some type of alkalizer or Bismol. But here's the question: why don't we bother to try to build our systems and build our health so we don't have the headaches and don't have the stomach aches and don't have the problems? We have to become proactive about our health and realize we can avoid problems and avoid pain and suffering by doing the right things up front. But until we change our attitude about our health and expect that Western medicine is going to save us, we will continue to do the things that we've been doing. And as a result, we are becoming an aged, a very broke down, a very decrepit, and a very miserable people. So I am wanting to encourage you at this point to please become proactive and not reactive. Take care of your body. Your body is the instrument that takes you from birth to death. You have to learn to take care of it every single day. It is your vehicle of transportation throughout your activities. So learn to cherish it and respect it and not abuse it and neglect it, and then expect for medical science to come along with a pill, a surgery, or a procedure that will save you. My friends, it hasn't happened in many, many years, and it's not going to happen now. So become a proactive individual and enjoy the benefits of dynamic and radiant health. Let's move on to key number 2. The second key, I believe, to radiant health is to create an image of what you want your health to be. You know, when it comes to many things in life, we take the time to visualize about those things. For example, we go to buy a car, we decide what color we want, what style, whether we want a truck, SUV. We go to buy a home, we decide whether we want to get a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 2-car garage. We have an image and an idea of what we want those homes to be. But when it comes to our health, we seem to have no concern whatsoever. We sort of like take it as a genetic predisposition and say, well, this is all I've got to work with, and I'll just leave it at that. That is the wrong attitude and disposition to take. You should have an image about what you want your health to be. Do you want to be slim, muscular? Do you want to have a strong, robust, and energetic body? Or would you rather be fat and flatulent, overweight, tired, and run down? You can make that decision. But you know something? You cannot create something you can't imagine. Everything that you see around you, this office that I'm in, the books, the desk, the camera even, all was created by somebody's imagination. They had to imagine or have an idea first, and then they created the product. The same thing applies to you. You have to decide what you want your body and your life and your health to be like. And that way you can create that image. Let me give you a quick example. Most of us know who Arnold Schwarzenegger is, the man who was a governor of California. He was a world-class bodybuilder. He won many, many contests, both national and international. He was one time asked, Mr. Schwarzenegger, how did you get to build the body that you did? What gave you the incentive? And he answered real simply and very directly. He said, I created an image of what I wanted my body to be. And I posted pictures, and I got images of people that were built like I wanted to be built, and then I worked toward that image. You should do the same thing with your health. You should be willing to build the legs, the arms, the overall physique, and the energy that you want. So the question again, do you want to be tired, run down, sickly, responding to colds and flus? Or do you want to be energetic? Do you want to be excited? Do you want to be able to look up and say, this is what I want to go do today, and then have the power and the energy and the stamina to do it? Or you can decide to be a couch potato. It's the image that you create that will decide how motivated you are. So my suggestion would be to sit down and decide, what do you really want your life to be? Don't let people tell you that genetics can control everything. That's not true. Because if genetics controlled everything, the first 2 people on the earth had to be very sick based on the condition of the people in the United States. Do you know that right now they said over 36 million people have diabetes? Now, do you think that it was a matter of just time and happenstance or just genetics that caused this to happen? No, folks, this is a result of diet and lifestyle and the fact that people have decided that it's okay to be a diabetic, that they have accepted the image of being a diabetic, and taking insulin and not feeling good and having amputations is okay. It's not. You have to create an image of health and vitality, and then you have to get up and work toward that image. If you do this, your health will improve, and I can assure you that eventually it will become very, very enjoyable and very. Now, for the third key to radiant health, it's very simple, but just because it's simple does not mean that it's not functional or that it does not have a powerful effect. And that is to cleanse your body and your systems. Dr. John Christopher, who established the School of Natural Healing in Springville, Utah, which is the institution, by the way, I was certified with, had always believed in a system that before you would ever nourish a system, you would have to clean it. And this makes perfect sense to most people. And let me give you a classic example of what I'm talking about. When you move into a new apartment or even a new home, what's the first thing you want to do to it? You come in, you make the changes you want to make, you may do some painting, and after you do all that, what do? You clean it. You go buy a new car, a used car, what do you do with that? You take it out and you clean it. Why? Because you want it to be totally and completely functional and to create an environment that you're happy with. The same thing applies to your body, which is far, far more valuable than a home or a car or anything else material. You should think about, at some point in time, of cleansing your system. Now, what am I talking about here? I'm talking about cleaning your bloodstream, cleaning your digestive tract, and cleaning your muscular and tissue system. How do you do that? There are several ways to do that. You can go through various cleanses that are available out there, and there are several of them available. But Dr. Christopher has one he calls a 3-day cleanse, and all it requires is basically 3 items: organic prune juice, distilled water, and apple juice. It's very simple to do. It only takes 3 days. But it is necessary to clean the system, and here's why. Did you know that your body will absorb 8 to 10 times more nutrients when it's clean than when it's filthy? And I'll give you a classic example. John Wayne, who everybody knows was a famous actor, died with something around 18 pounds of fecal matter in his system. He was not able to absorb almost any nutrients because of the compacted fecal matter in his intestinal tract. Obviously, this gentleman didn't clean, and that's sad. But for you and I that have an opportunity to clear up our system and clean it and allow nutrients to be absorbed into the system, we can take advantage of this, and we can do it, and we can do it now. This is a vital key to becoming healthy. You cannot take a dirty and toxified system and expect to have radiant and robust health. It will show up in your skin, it will show up in your eyes, it will show up even in your body odor. A clean system is far more functional. Clean your bloodstream. You want to clean your intestinal and digestive tract so nutrients can be absorbed, and clean your tissues and organs so they can function. Because understand this, there's only 2 reasons for sickness and disease, and please pay attention to this. There's only 2 reasons for every disease and sickness out there. One of them is toxicity, the other one is deficiency. Every disease known to man is caused by one or both of these reasons. So if you get rid of the toxicity and the poisons in the body, the only thing that would be left to cause you to have a disease would be deficiency. And we'll get into that in the later steps. But right now, understand, take the time, take the effort to clean your system. Clean the digestive tract, clean the bloodstream, get the tissues and organs healthy so they can absorb the nutrients, and you can enjoy painless, you can enjoy energetic, and very radiant health. Okay, let's move on to key number 4. So what we've done is we've changed our attitude about our health. We have created an image of what we want our health to be. We've cleansed up our system, and now what do we do with a clean system? Key number 4 to radiant health would be to eat live food. Can I say that again? Eat live food. Well, people say, well, don't I do that all the time? Absolutely not. Americans are known to be junk food addicts. We eat plenty of junk foods day in and day out. In fact, the fast food industry is one of the most viable industries in this country today. Why? Because the food is fast, it's quick, but it's mostly devoid of nutrition and health benefits. We need to learn to adapt to love live foods. And I know we don't do that because I'll give you a quick example. If you go to the local supermarket, you ever see anyone standing in line to get broccoli, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, beans, and greens? Almost never. But I've seen people in the aisles where the sugar-rated, processed, and nutritionless foods like cereals, they're standing in line and they're arguing with their children about which one of the junk cereals to eat. They're loaded with sugar and a bunch of toxins that do nothing for the body. Dead foods will create dead bodies. People often talk about people like myself, that eat what they call health foods. Well, let me ask you, which one do you think is better? Health foods or non-health foods? Which one do you think is more beneficial to the body? We've gotten into a habit that we learn to accept foods that just simply fill our stomach and don't energize or strengthen or nourish our systems. And as a result, we are depleted of nutrients and vitamins, and we don't eat the foods that we need. You must learn to have a love for live and fresh foods. When you come into the area where the fresh fruits and vegetables are, that should be where you should spend most of your time. If something has been packaged and processed and cooked and prepared so that it will sit on the shelf for 3, 4, and 5 years, you have to ask yourself the question, is it live or is it processed to death? And if I eat it, will I have a live body or a dead body? Will I have a healthy body or a sick body? It's your choice. But in this country, we believe in fast foods. You know what fast foods do? They take you to an early grave. If that's what you want, your choice. It's a free country. But those of you that say you want radiant health, learn to love to eat fried foods. Foods that are not overcooked. You don't want to eat things that are cooked and boiled all night and all day, where the nutrients and the vitamins and the minerals have been depleted out of them. But learn to prepare the foods. These are things you can do that are not difficult. These are things you can do that will save your health. It will save you the agony and the pain of going to the emergency room being treated because your body is nutritionally deficient and it's been loaded with junky, processed, cooked, and no good dead foods. So you must learn to eat live foods. If you pick up a package and it has chemicals and processing in it that you can't even pronounce, don't buy it. Don't buy it. If you can't pronounce it, you sure don't need to eat it. Okay? Learn to eat and love live, fresh foods. Key number 5. This one you think is almost a no-brainer. And you know what that is? Take supplements. Now, I know there are those of the particular medical profession, some people believe that supplements are just wasting your money, or some physicians have even told people that if you take a bunch of vitamins and mineral supplements, you're only going to have expensive urine. Well, let me explain something to you that maybe you'll understand in a way you've never understood it before. In 1936, the U.S. government did a study on the soils of America. And what they found out was that the soils of America were from 50 to 80% deficient in the vitamins and minerals that the plants take in that normally would be in our soils that would go in our food. As a result of these deficiencies, and we've been growing crops now on these deficient soils for now over 70 years, and as a result, my friends, diseases have skyrocketed. Diseases and deficiency problems are off the charts because for 70 years, you and I have imbibed of foods that are nutritionally deficient. This can be found as a result of just doing some search on the internet. I believe it was U.S. Document 264 in the 72nd Congress. Check it out. But they found out our soils were deficient. Well, here's the deal. Once again, if the soil is deficient, then that means the crops that they grow on the soil are going to be deficient. And if we eat those crops, what is it going to do to our bodies? They're going to be deficient. And as a result, as I said earlier, we have 36 million people with diabetes. Over 8 million of those don't even know they have it. You have people out every day dying of heart attacks, strokes, coming from deficiencies. As I said before, deficiency and toxicity is the cause of every disease known to man. So if you are not toxic and you've cleansed your system, but you don't give it the right nutrients, and obviously you can't get them from the soil and in the plants because it's not there, you have to supplement. And when it comes to supplementation, keep this in mind. Like everything else, there's good, there's not so good, there's bad, and there's, if you'll excuse me, crap. And you have to be the one to make the decision. And you have to decide to yourself, are you worth it? I see people spend tens of hundreds of dollars on their cars, fixing them up, buying fancy wheels, getting wax jobs and paint jobs, spending thousands of dollars on their homes. Even as a handyman, I've went in and worked with people and redecorated their homes, and they've spent tens of thousands of dollars. But when you tell them that they need to buy $50 or $100 worth of supplements, suddenly they become cheap Charlie. They're broke. They can't see their way doing it. But yet they'll find their way to the emergency room, and they may end up with a surgery that will cost them $50,000 when they could have solved the problem with maybe a $50 supplement. So do you understand the advantages of supplementing? We must get to the point that we realize until the government goes back and re-nurtures the soil and do farming according to the principles it should be done, that we are going to be a nutritionally deficient people. And if you don't supplement, you're going to suffer from nutritionally deficient diseases. So if you want to avoid this problem, if you want to make sure your life is radiant and you can avoid some of the pitfalls of nutritional deficiencies, learn to supplement. Investigate. Go for quality. You are worth it. You are worth it. If you can spend tens of thousands of dollars on your clothes, your car, and your house, you can afford to spend money on yourself. Get quality supplements, take them as you should, and take them on a regular basis, and you will find over the long haul that your health will become vibrant, you will have less sickness, less disease, less aches, less pains, and you will enjoy more radiant health. And by the way, I just wanted to mention something in relation to supplementation. I don't know whether many of you know or remember, but there was a captain of the Boston Celtics. His name was Reggie Lewis, and this gentleman was a very good basketball player. He was the captain of the team, and he collapsed one day on the court and had something, what they call a cardiomyopathy, sort of a heart attack. And they took him out. Some specialists took him under their wing and began to treat him. They put him on some prescriptions and so forth, gave him some therapy. And after a few weeks, they sent him back out to the basketball court to play a game and to warm up. He went out. He played a couple of minutes in the game. He collapsed. This time, he died. He was 27 years old. 27 years old, and he collapsed on the floor with a cardiomyopathy heart attack. And guess what, folks? That's caused by a selenium deficiency. So this young man, 27 years old, father of one child, married man, died on the basketball court, in essence, of a selenium deficiency of a selenium supplement that cost maybe $3 to $5 at a local drugstore. Supplementation is very important. If it's not in the soil, it's not going to be in the plants. If it's not in the plants, it's not going to be in our bodies, pure and simple. So really take this supplementation thing to heart, and don't let any medical profession or anyone talk you out of it. In fact, let me just mention, my mother, who is currently 87 years old, was told about 7 years ago by her doctor not to listen to me and not to supplement. Well, I'm sad to announce he is dead, and has been dead now for 4 years. My mother is going into her 88th year. So perhaps there was something to the information that I gave her. She is willing to supplement, and she did. She's still alive. The physician that told her not to do it is now dead. You choose which one was probably the most wise and which one has the benefits. So it's your call. Well, let's move on to key number 6. We're getting there right just about now. And this key is one that I know a lot of people will say, well, there's a lot of controversy about it, but you know what? You make the decision. Once again, it's your choice, it's your life, it's your body. And the 6th key, I believe, to having radiant health is to get a proper amount of exercise. You know, the old saying is, if you don't use it, you lose it. You know, we sit around, and America has probably the largest population of couch potatoes of any Western country in the world. Do you know, as I said earlier, that most of us exercise less than 1 hour a week? And this is why many of us are overweight. But at the same time, when we talk about exercise, we have to be careful. And what do I mean? Well, did you know that an average of 70,000 plus people die every year either during or immediately after exercise? Now, what is that a result of? That's because people's bodies are probably not prepared to exercise to the extent that they are. And they don't have the nutrients in their bodies for their bodies to be able to sustain. So guess what? They don't succeed with their exercise. They end up hurting themselves or causing damage one way or the other because their bodies are not prepared. I am not suggesting that at all. In fact, I would always encourage people, before you start an exercise regimen, you should consult with your health care provider or your physician and make sure your body is ready for that. But you cannot sit around and become a couch potato and become dormant and lazy and expect to have radiant health. It will not happen. It will simply not happen. You will become like most Americans, as I said, 30 to 50 pounds overweight. You will become sluggish and lethargic. But on the other hand, when you get up and move your body and move your muscles and move your tissues, you stimulate the system. You raise your endorphin level. You cause your circulation to be a little bit better. And I'm not talking about getting out jogging or running a marathon. I'm just talking about walking. You can do swimming. You can do whatever exercise your body will allow you to, but you should start off in moderation, and you should progress. Don't get out and try to run a marathon if you've been a couch potato for 10 years. That would be foolish and it would be detrimental. Don't try to get out and exercise and become a Superman or get into bodybuilding or weight training when you haven't properly supplemented. You understand what I'm saying here? What I'm talking about is be mature, be balanced about it, but you must move the body and keep circulation going. You must stimulate the heart and the tissues and keep the blood flowing. This is what makes you live. This is what makes you feel alive. And if you don't do these things, you will become sluggish, lethargic, overweight, and obese. And you will find yourself buying larger and larger clothes, feeling less and less energy, and as a result, you will probably die early or suffer several illnesses and maladies. So learn to get up and move your body. I don't care how you do it. Just be wise and discreet about it. But exercise every single day. And not only your body, you want to exercise your mind. Don't sit there and let the boob tube or the TV mesmerize you and cause you to be brain dead. This is what happens to too many people. They become lethargic and they watch other people on television exercising and moving and doing athletic things while they sit there and become a couch potato, stuffing themselves with potato chips, popcorn, ice cream, and junk foods that is going to do nothing for their body or extend their life or their health. Learn to love yourself enough to say, I'm going to get up, I'm going to move, I'm going to exercise my body because this is the only body you have. It will take you from birth to death. Whether the journey is an exciting one filled with energy and activities and things you love to do, or whether you're sluggish and tired and sickly and taking medications and running to the emergency room, my friend, it is your choice. You have to decide, I want a body that is vibrant, healthy, well supplemented, energetic, and I'm going to get up and move this body every single day, every single chance I have, so that I will have enjoyable and vibrant and radiant. And well, and finally, we're going to get to key number 7. I know you've been waiting for this one, and we're going to wrap this up, but listen to me close when I tell you these things. This is a simple key, and I know most of you know this, but how many of them actually apply? Did you know that better than 12 million Americans on a daily basis are out taking some type of medication or some type of pill in order to be able to sleep and to get proper rest? So what's the 7th key? The 7th key to radiant health, I believe, is getting proper sleep and proper rest. Now, many of us don't believe that that's necessary because we live in a world where the world seems to work 24 hours 7. It never seems to stop. We have lights that we can burn because we can turn on a switch and the lights are there, and we can stay up all night. And we somehow think that that's okay to do. Well, your body was never designed for that. The body was designed by a divine force that says that you need a time to relax and to lay down and allow your body to restore itself. Because some very important things happen when you're resting and you're sleeping. And I'm going to give you 3 of those very important things that happen during this process and why it's so important. First of all, when you go to sleep and get proper rest, your body is detoxifying. When you take in foods and substances and you burn off energy, your body creates something called free radicals. Free radicals are toxins that float in the body, and as a result, they can cause cellular damage if they're not removed in an adequate amount. So while you're sleeping, what your body does by a divine process, it goes after these free radicals to lower your toxicity level so that you don't get sick and get diseases and problems. So it is very important to get proper rest. So when you do this and your body detoxifies, that means when you wake up refreshed. So getting proper sleep is very important to the cleansing of your system. So that is the number one and the main reason you want to get your toxicity level down, because what did I say earlier? There's 2 causes for diseases, toxicity and deficiency. So by getting proper rest and nourishing your body properly, exercising properly, you lower your toxic level and your chance of getting sick is going to go down. You know, a lot of people think that when wintertime comes, they say, this is cold and flu season. For who? Who came up with that idea? Who said you have to get a cold or a flu because it gets cold? Well, they say, well, it's in the air. Well, if it's in the air, why doesn't everyone get sick? Colds and flus are a result of toxicity and exposure. When the body's not able to ward off bacteria and germs and viruses, it gets sick. If your immune system is strong and your toxicity level is down, you can fight off colds and flus and viruses. So nobody has to buy into this garbage that Well, it's cold and flu season. That's a ploy. That's strictly what that is. That is not real. So you have to decide, do I want to get the proper rest so I can ward those things off? That's your choice. But sleep will help you do that. So that's the number one reason to get proper sleep. Now, what is proper sleep? It may vary. You may need 6 hours sleep, 5 hours. Some people need 8. Find what your balance is and what you need to feel restored. And that's what you should always go for. And stop letting things and people push you past that point. In other words, we get this attitude that, well, there's something I've got to get done. What you're getting done is you. You're turning in your health for some activity that you're choosing to participate in. And it's going to cause you problems later on. Be proactive. Get ahead of the game. Don't run your body down and lose your rest to the point that you get sick and break down. Get your proper rest so that you can detoxify. The second reason you want to get enough sleep and enough rest is so that your body can build the proper hormones. Did you know that between the hours of about 10 o'clock at night and say, about 2 in the morning, most of the hormones that you need for the next day are being made? And if you're not resting during that time, your body cannot make these hormones. And if they don't make them, you'll wake up, as they say, grouchy as a sore-tailed bear. That's my mother's expression. Well, why? Because you don't have enough serotonin, you don't have enough dopamine. The hormones your body would have manufactured with proper rest and proper nutrition are not there. So you wake up grumpy and irritable. You have a short fuse, as they say. Why? Because your hormonal system is out of balance. Not everyone in the world should be always going through PMS. But the fact of the matter is, when you wake up with this attitude because your body's out of hormonal balance, that's what happens. So realize that by getting proper sleep, getting proper rest, your body will balance itself out, develop the proper hormones that it needs to develop, so you wake up in the morning with a good attitude, feeling like I can wake up and I can take on the world and handle my responsibilities. That's what you want. The third thing that your sleep will do will allow your cellular tissues to regenerate and to grow. When do babies grow? For the most part, when they're asleep. Do you think that changes because you get older? No. Your body is rejuvenating tens of trillions of cells every single year, every single day, every single night. If you don't get proper rest, your body can't do its job. So that cellular regeneration will slow down. And if that happens, guess what? You start to get aches and pains, and you start to do what we call aging. Age is not toxic. Toxins kill. Toxins age. And they cloak themselves under the disguise of old age. But you know something? Every 7 years or so, your body totally regenerates. So what's there to get old? But if you don't get proper rest and you don't sleep properly, you're forcing your body to break down and slow down its process of cellular regeneration. And if that doesn't happen, no new skin is going to be made, no new muscular tissue is going to be made, or at least not made as fast as it should be, and you are going to develop aging diseases and aging problems. So getting that proper rest is essential. And along with this rest, I want you to keep this in mind. Many of us don't realize the plain and simple fact that when we go to bed, we need to lay our thoughts to rest as well. We need to learn how to let go of the day's activity. Whatever happened that day, it's done. It's over with. You need to forget about it, leave it alone, and get some rest and get up in the morning and try to resolve whatever issue that's not resolved. But get your proper rest. Don't go to bed at night angry. Don't go to bed at night frustrated. You know, there's a scripture that even says, don't let the sun go down on your wrath. In other words, leave yesterday's problems yesterday. At the end of the day, you've done all you could do. And be thankful that you got through that day. Tomorrow is a brand new day. It's one you've never seen before. You haven't messed it up. You haven't made any mistakes on it. Look forward to it and say, everything that I've done wrong yesterday, I have a chance to do it right today. Have a positive outlook and realize that, you know, you don't have to be perfect in everything all the time, every day. You don't have to be perfect in even how you live your life. You try and you do the best you can. But when you set these things aside and when you begin to realize that how this is all connected to you and who you are and how you love yourself, you will find that your rest will be greater. It will be, your sleep will be sweeter. because you've let go of the things of the past. Release things. Forgive people that have done you injustices. It's more for you than it is for them. And when you lay down to rest at night, I hope that your rest and sleep will be peaceful, and it will be restorative, and it will allow you to enjoy great, dynamic, and radiant health. So when you do these things, if you follow these principles, you'll find that your aging process will change. You know, a lot of people didn't realize at one point in time that I was as old as I was, because I've been following these principles for 40 years. I will soon go into my 61st year. I'm thankful for that. It doesn't mean that I have everything right, nor does it mean I'm perfect. It just simply means I am enjoying the benefits of these principles. Not because I came up with them. I didn't. I simply adhere to them, and I hope you will too. So take these 7 keys and practice them on a daily basis. Burn them into your mind and your heart and your brain, and see if your life doesn't improve and increase. And in fact, I want you to see at the end of this presentation, you're going to meet a few people that have adopted these concepts, and you can see and listen to their own personal testimonies in their own way, nothing canned, how that these concepts have worked for them. So I hope they'll benefit.
Hi, my name is Teresa Reed, and I work in retail, which I have to do a lot of physical labor at work every day, climbing ladders and a lot of walking. I've been on supplementations that Lonnie recommended for about 9 months now. I take a Ultimate Classic, which is vitamins, and I take Cherrymin through Youngevity, which are 61 minerals that your body needs. And I can tell since I've been on the supplementations that I just have an overall increase in energy. I've also changed my dietary habits, which he also recommended. I eat fruit in the morning instead of, heavy foods, which, increases my energy level even more, which causes me to be more productive at work. Also, my daughters take the supplementations as well, the Cherrymin minerals. And my oldest girl runs track, and my baby girl, she is in a dance club, and she also plays volleyball. And I can tell that doing the supplementations also helps their energy levels. During the past 9 months, I had a serious bout of tonsillitis, and being that my immune system was strengthened by taking these supplements, I was able to fight the condition without hospitalization or surgery, and I'm fine, as you can see. Also, I've noticed my monthly cycles have gotten better. I transition into them much better. I don't cramp or bloat anymore, which is great. And I am going to continue to take these supplements and other herbs that I've been recommended by Lonnie, and I'm going to continue.
Hi, my name's Kathy Dickerson. I'm a real estate agent, and I met Lonnie through working real estate, and I was having a problem with my hip. And I went to Lonnie and I asked him what I should do for that, because I knew that I was probably going down the road my sister was going. She had a hip replacement at the age of like 50, maybe 51 years old, and I didn't want to go that route if I didn't have to. But I knew something was wrong, and I asked Lonnie what I should do about it, and he told me a couple things to do. Well, one thing was, he said soda's really bad for me. So he said, just, cut down on the soda, try to cut it out, but, you can do this slowly. And some other things he said was to not drink while you're eating. That's a very helpful thing, because you're diluting your digestive system. Told me he got me on a probiotic, which has really been really good. I got my whole family on those now. And a few other things he told me to take, the classic, Young Living, there's some vitamins and minerals, to take those, and some hydrochloric acid, and then a couple other things. And what that did was just, the probiotic got my stomach in a better situation so I can use my nutrients, and then all the other vitamins and supplements were going into my hip. And anyway, make a long story short, it's doing better. I have no problem with it anymore. And so anytime I see somebody that has some sort of health issue, a lot of times I'm bugging Lonnie about, hey, Lonnie, what do you do for this? Like, I had a friend that had high blood pressure. I called him up, and he said a lot of times high blood pressure is low calcium, or calcium deficiency. And so I just call him up and bug him every once in a while and ask him for health advice.
Okay. Hello, I'm Daryl Parks, and I'm an entrepreneur. I met Lonnie years ago, and he was in the infant level of starting his holistic program. You know, we talked about diet, health and nutrition, exercise. Then he started using longevity, and he recommended me. So I tried the product, and over a period of time, it worked. I could feel a difference in my energy level and my stamina. And he had other supplements that he recommended, you know, for my needs. And even with injury, I had a work-related injury, and I was just kind of bashed up. And he recommended Comfort Leaves. Comfort Leaves help the inflammation process, you know. And I went back to work the next day, and they just thought, "Wow, you heal fast." And I just kind of smiled, like I got inside information, you know. I'm gonna recommend to everybody that if you want better health, you know, because the health care industry is a billion-dollar industry. You know, it's less money for you to focus on your health while you're feeling good than to spend all those thousands and thousands of dollars to the hospitals and the doctors. You know, it's simple little steps: diet, exercise, natural supplements. You know, and a lot of it's discipline too, because you know we get used to eating fast food, processed foods. You know, foods that taste good that probably not good for you. And you'll just have to, you know, make a decision. What do you want out of life? You know, and I think part of it is when we're young, you know, we think we're invincible, but as time goes on, we start feeling aches and pains and lack of energy and stuff like that. And things change. So you have to make a decision what you want to do. But when you do make a decision, contact the holistic. The name of his organization is the Beacon of Life Holistic Center. You contact him, talk to him. He'll be very helpful. Matter of fact, he'll give you a wealth of knowledge that help you have an enhanced life.